Hello, everyone. This is Aaron from Bay Street Insider, and we're here with Dr. Matt Coffey, President, Chief Executive Officer at Oncolytics Biotech. It's a pleasure to have you on, Matt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, and thanks very much for having me back on the show.
Yes, I'm excited to be talking. So you guys have some news. We're definitely going to be talking about that. Let's start with some updates on the company and everything you've been up to since we last spoke.
It's been an exciting time for the company, especially this week, because I think kind of out of right field, we've been very focused on getting into our phase 3 program. We finished our collaboration with Pfizer. We're just letting that data mature. And I think we surprised investors this week when we talked for the first time about our collaboration with Roche in pancreatic cancer, which is just a devastating indication. The diagnosis, typically people are told how long they have. It's not something that is really treatable. Response rates are, 20% ish. 1 year survival is about a year. We started a collaboration with Roche, and we're very pleased to announce that we're reporting, let's call it a 70% response rate. We've had a patient who's had a complete response. That's to say they have no measurable disease anymore. We're just letting the data mature now to see how long these responses are lasting. But I think what we're focusing on now is developing a phase 3 program that extends beyond our breast cancer program and HR positive, but it's also one now that can include such a debilitating disease such as pancreatic cancer.
So those are fantastic results, as you mentioned. And the company recently presented updated clinical data at a SITC annual meeting showing 69% objective response rate and confirmed complete response in goblet studies pancreatic cancer cohort. So can you tell us a little bit more about that news and why it's so significant?
Absolutely. And I think, we've almost underrepresented the results. Typically, patients who have pancreatic cancer that is localized to the pancreas have much better outcomes than those where the cancer spread to other organs, including the liver, the lung, the lymph nodes. What we didn't really disclose until the poster was 90% of these patients had metastasis, so they had much worse outcomes. So the fact that we're seeing a 70% response rate in a metastatic patient population is astounding. Their progression-free survivals are measured in weeks, if not months. And we really gained this, I think, in a sense, to be extremely stringent. We were looking response at 16 weeks or 4 months. Typically, a lot of these patients will have progressed well before that 16-week marker. So in talking with key opinion leaders, they were astounded with these results. I was talking with a KOL that said anything that approaches 40%, will get everyone in the community excited, and we're reporting now 69% with a complete response. Now, in terms of this complete response, I think it's important for your viewers to recognize we've looked at over 1,000 patients of historical responses, and a complete response is typically seen in 0.2 to 0.4% of the population, so incredibly rare. And we're reporting 1 out of 13, so I think this is a very encouraging clinical sign. We're now working with our stakeholders and regulators to enable us to get into hopefully registration programs so that we can, hopefully make an impact in this very devastating disease as quickly as we can.
So those are definitely fantastic results. And, what are the next steps for the company now that you've announced, these great results? What should we look forward to?
We have an exciting sort of next 6 to 8 months. The PANC, I think, really took people by surprise with this collaboration with Roche, because even the company didn't anticipate this type of news. We're at a point now where we've, demonstrated that we have this incredibly high response rate. But the trick with oncology treatments is to see how durable they are. So we want to make sure that these patients maintain these responses, for beyond 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, hopefully well beyond. And then importantly, it's how long they survive ultimately. You can have a tumor response, but if you die earlier than expected, the patient really hasn't derived a benefit. So in terms of the PANC program, we're now letting this data mature. We'll be giving an update to our shareholders. In the first half of next year, we hope to present this at a major medical conference, either in April or in June. The irony here is the longer these patients survive, the longer it takes us to present these results. So it's a good problem to have, but we really want to see an impactful benefit on overall survival. Behind that, of course, was our breast cancer program. We had a near doubling of overall survival on a study we conducted with the NCIC. We started 2 programs, one with Roche and one with Pfizer, to better explain why we have that overall survival. We've presented the Roche data, which demonstrated that the product is acting immunogenically and is killing the tumor through the immune system. The Pfizer collaboration, which is really a do-over of that randomized study, we're now just letting the data mature. We anticipate presenting that also either at ACR or ASCO. We're really quite excited about that because that's our last step before stepping into the phase 3 program. So we'll have a presentation in December from our Chinese partner, Adelaide Nortai, who is doing a bridging study. And I think that gives us pretty good insights into what the phase 3 will look like. We'll be presenting that final randomized data first half of next year. And then we hope to be telling our shareholders about what our phase 3 plans are, not only in breast, but also now in pancreatic cancer. And behind this, hopefully, partnering activities. The data that we've generated, I think, is extremely compelling. And partners, I think, can see that opportunity. And I think they want to work with us to move this ahead.
Yeah, it's nice to see so many things in the pipeline, and it should be an exciting year for you guys. So as we know, the biosector, it's been always a highly volatile sector with tremendous opportunities, but also, a place with tremendous investment risks. Why should an investor consider biotech and more specifically Oncolytics at this time?
Well, biotech's been a bloodbath since February of 2021. We've seen a massive sell-off in biotech assets, which I think creates a tremendous opportunity for investors. Biotech has never seen a 2-year turn down before. So that's unprecedented. And I think, what we're hearing from the industry, what we're hearing from the investment banks is they believe they've actually reached a soft bottom, if you will, now. And I think the upsides are tremendous. I think, though, people have an opportunity to be very, very picky about their investment opportunities. You can always invest in something that's preclinical, that's being tested in animals, and those are very promising, but they're years, if not decades, away from a clinical approval. Whereas right now, investors can be looking at assets that are trading close to cash that are a couple of years away from, being billion-dollar products. So I think for investors that are looking to speculate in biotech, now is an extremely exciting time to look at late-stage assets that have never had valuations this low, in an improving market where I think if we approach where they were, the upsides are tremendous for investors. So I think an opportunity like Oncolytics, which is looking at registration programs, in the next 6 to 9 months, with the strength of randomized data, I think investors can make very educated guesses. And markets being what the markets are, I think the upsides are tremendous for these people participating at this moment.
Definitely, it's been a difficult, like you said, last 2 years, but lots of upside potentially in hopefully the near future. So, where's the best place for investors to find out more information on the company?
I would encourage them to go to our website, oncolyticsbiotech.com. We're very active on Twitter and in social media. We've recently been picked up in the news based on these results. So, we're actually in the public media as well. So again, I would encourage our website and all of our social media accounts.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Matt. I know it'll be a busy year. Best of luck with everything and look forward to having you back on.
Aaron, it's always a pleasure to be here, and thanks again for having me.